Executive President of Sri Lanka.
The swearing-in ceremony was held at the parliamentary complex in Sri Jayawardhanapura Kotte.
Top story.
A simple ceremony was organised for the swearing-in of the new president. Speaker Mahinda Abeyewardena welcomed President Ranil Wickremesinghe and his spouse Professor Maithree Wickremesinghe at the entrance of the parliamentary complex. Subsequently, President Ranil Wickremesinghe arrived inside the parliament and sworn in before Chief Justice Jayantha Jayasuriya. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa, MP Dallas Alahaperuma and a group of parliamentarians were present at the occasion.
Top story.
Ranil Wickremesinghe, who was elected as the 8th Executive President of Sri Lanka, engaged in religious observance during his visit to Gangaramaya Temple in Colombo last evening. The religious observances were conducted by Chief Incumbent of the Gangaramaya Temple, Venerable Kirinde Assaji Thera. Ministers, parliamentarians and members of the United National Party were present at the occasion. President Ranil Wickremesinghe pledged to end confrontational politics and work with the parliament. He said that those who protest and many other questions the inability of the political parties in the parliament to work together and bringing a system of change. He added that the attention should be directed on these questions raised by the youth of the nation. The President said he intends to work together with all political parties representing the Parliament. He further said that they are ready to listen to those who stage peaceful protests and the silent majority. He added that they are also prepared to deal with those who create destruction through legal means. He pointed out that democracy is not to burn down houses and take offices of the President and the Prime Minister under the guise of people's struggle. He further indicated that actions will be taken against those who oppose the law. When inquired about the next Prime Minister, President Ranil Wickremesinghe said he believes the person who holds a majority in the Parliament should take over the post. US Ambassador in Colombo, Julie Chong, expressed her wishes to the new president of Sri Lanka, Ranil Wickremesinghe.
India and Britain have also conveyed their wishes to the newly elected president of the country.
In a tweet, she said that it will be essential for all parties to redouble their efforts to work together to tackle the economic crisis, uphold democracy and accountability, and build a stable and secure future for all Sri Lankans in these challenging times.
The Indian High Commission in Colombo said the Parliament of Sri Lanka, in the exercise of the provisions of the Sri Lankan Constitution, has today elected former Premier Ranil Wickremesinghe as the President of Sri Lanka. As a close friend and neighbour of Sri Lanka and a fellow democracy, India will continue to be supportive of the quest of the people of Sri Lanka for stability and economic recovery through democratic means and values.
British High Commissioner Sarah Holton in a tweet said that the United Kingdom looks forward to working with the new government led by President Ranil Wickremesinghe as it works to meet all the needs of Sri Lankans, including calls for political and economic reforms. She added that the British government urges all parties to protect democratic and inclusive governance, including the right to peaceful protests.
Meanwhile, former President Chandrika Bandaranayake, in a message, has also conveyed her wishes to new President Ranil Wickremesinghe. The former president said that President Ranil Wickremesinghe has taken over the reins of the country at a moment when it is besieged with unprecedented challenges. She extended her wishes and success to President Wickremesinghe in the greater interests of the country.
People in various parts of the country expressed their joy and well wishes following the swearing-in ceremony of the new president.
We now present a brief note on Ranil Wickremesinghe, who was elected as the 8th Executive President of Sri Lanka. Ranil Wickremesinghe received his basic education at the Royal College, Colombo, and obtained his LLB degree from the University of Colombo. His advent into politics occurred while he was still a law student. In the year 1977, he was elected to the Parliament from the Biyagama electorate and was appointed the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs in the President J.R. Jayawardena government. He is the coveted record holder as the youngest cabinet minister when he was appointed at the age of 28 as the Minister of Employment and Youth Affairs. When he was holding the position of the Minister of Education and Industries, he was able to introduce educational reforms and new policies on the industries in the country. During his tenure as the Minister of Youth Affairs, Ranil Wickremesinghe launched Youth Services Council and Yovun Puraya for the development of youth leaders. In 1994, he was made the leader of the United National Party. In the 2001 general elections, winning 109 electorates, Ranil Wickremesinghe was elected the 17th Prime Minister of Sri Lanka. Subsequently, in the general elections held in the year 2005, he was appointed the leader of opposition. Later, in the presidential elections of 2015, he brought forth the concept of the common candidate and worked dedicatedly to achieve victory by having Maithripala Sirisena being appointed as the president. In return, after the victorious achievement of winning the elections, President Maithripala Sirisena appointed Ranil Wickremesinghe as the Prime Minister. Subsequently, in the general elections held in 2015, the United National Front won 106 seats, which led him to become the Prime Minister again. The Good Governance government remained in power for 3.5 years following his appointment. Ranil Wickremesinghe was elected to the chairmanship of Asia Pacific Democratic Union, and then he was awarded the chairmanship of International Democratic Institute. Ranil Wickremesinghe, who shows special interest in Buddhist philosophy and history, has written the classical works titled Deshapalanaya and Dharmaya, Politics and Dharma. In recognition of his contribution to the economy of Sri Lanka and his achievements in the fields of education and human rights, he was awarded an honorary doctorate by the Deakin University in Australia. The economic growth in 2001 remained at a decline. At a time when the foreign reserves were gradually depleting, the public mandate was handed over to Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe to uplift the collapsed economy. It is significant that Prime Minister Wickremesinghe was successful in stabilizing the rupee and strengthening the foreign reserves to revive the collapsed economy. Ranil Wickremesinghe took over the reins as the Prime Minister in the month of May at a time when the country is besieged with unprecedented economic challenges. To overcome the prevailing crisis, Ranil Wickremesinghe, using his experience, initiated talks with international financial agencies, including International Monetary Fund. Representing the Parliament for nearly 50 years and fulfilling a decisive duty towards the future governance while strengthening the democracy, the new president will be able to accomplish many achievements in the future as the head of state.
Saman Ekanaika has been appointed as the secretary to the president. He was appointed by President Ranil Wickremesinghe. Accordingly, Secretary to the President Saman Ekanaika assumed his duties today. Saman Ekanaika is a special grade officer of Sri Lanka Administrative Service and has held the post of Secretary to the Prime Minister on several occasions. He obtained his first degree from Peradeniya University and the postgraduate degree from the Sri Lanka Jayawardena University on Public Administration. With over 30 years of service, Saman Ekanaika has also assumed secretary positions in Ministries of Youth Affairs, Sports, Samurdhi, Housing and Industries. Previously, he has also rendered his services in the High Commission of Sri Lanka in Malaysia and the High Commission of Sri Lanka in Britain. Issuance of fuel from Sipecco filling stations resumed today after a long period. Ceylon Petroleum Corporation indicated that vehicles will be refueled according to the final digit number of the plates until the implementation of the National Fuel Pass.
In a tweet, Minister Kanchana Wijesekara said that the National Fuel Pass system was successfully tested today after finalizing the preliminary technical glitches. He also stated that this new system will reduce the long queues near filling stations while accelerating the island-wide fuel distribution. Accordingly, the vehicles with the number plates ending with 0, 1 and 2 may receive their quota of fuel on Tuesdays and Saturdays, while those ending with 3, 4 and 5 will be able to refuel on Thursdays and Sundays. Those ending with 6, 7, 8 and 9 will be able to receive their fuel quota on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. Ceylon Petroleum Corporation said the restrictions have been imposed on fuel supply for vehicles. Accordingly, motorcycles will receive fuel for a maximum of 1,500 rupees, while the fuel supply restriction on three-wheelers is 2,000 rupees. Other vehicles will receive fuel at a maximum of 7,000 rupees. Supply of fuel for passenger transport bus services will be carried out through depots belonging to Sri Lanka Transport Board. With the aim to ensure an effective fuel supply, Information and Communication Technology Agency of Sri Lanka, under the guidance of Ministry of Power and Energy, has introduced a National Fuel Pass. The National Fuel Pass system will be effective from the 25th of July in filling stations across the country. Meanwhile, the pilot project of the National Fuel Pass system commenced today. One of the initiatives was conducted at the Sipecco filling station in Madivela. Accordingly, fuel was supplied to the vehicles as per the newly introduced system. Filling Station Owners Association has said that the issuance of fuel through the new system will provide some relief for the consumers. In a statement, the Information and Communication Technology Agency has informed the public to use the official website introduced by the government. Fuel supply from CPETCO filling stations resumed today after a long period. Long queues were seen to obtain the relevant quota. Lanka Private Bus Owners Association has said that the private bus service operations are yet to be normalised. Meanwhile, a gazette has been issued regarding or declaring the train fare revisions. Accordingly, the minimum fare of the first class is 100 rupees, 50 rupees for the second class, while 20 rupees for the third class. Accordingly, the Department of Railways has indicated that other charges will also be increased as well. The train fare revision will be effective from the 23rd of July. President Ranil Wickremesinghe visited the Ministry of Defence in Sri Jawardhanapura Kotte today.
The ministry is situated at the Defence Headquarters complex. Secretary to the Defence, General Kamal Gunaratne, welcomed the President Ranil Wickremesinghe upon his arrival at the Defence Ministry. President Wickremesinghe arrived at the Defence Headquarters following in the swearing-in ceremony and engaged in discussions with the heads of Defence staff.
Today is the 104th day of the Golfers protest. It has been observed that participants of the protest have continued to decline since last night. Reports have indicated that no person was to be seen at the protest site by this afternoon. Meanwhile, the Red Cross has taken steps to remove its branch from the protest site. A court order was issued yesterday citing that no protest should take place within 50 meters from the SWRT Bandaranayake statue. The protesters also took steps to remove the protest site established in front of the temple trees this evening. Meanwhile, representatives of the Golfers protest convening a media briefing said that they will not accept the appointment of Ranil Wickremesinghe as the new president of the country. Leader of National Freedom Front, Vimal Veeravansa, says the final result of the people's protest was the appointment of former Premier Ranil Wickremesinghe as the new president of the country.
He made these remarks during a media briefing held at the party headquarters today. Leader of the NFF, Vimal Veeravansa, said that the people's protest managed to remove Gotabaya Rajapaksa from the presidency, who was elected through an election, and elect Ranil Wickremesinghe, who was defeated in the election, as the president. He said that the result of the people's protest, Ranil Wickremesinghe became the Prime Minister, subsequently became the acting president due to the protest that took place on June 9th, and he has now become the president. He said that they refrained from endorsing the removal of then-president from office due to such circumstances. He said that the move managed to appoint someone who is worse than the previous president to the office of the president. However, he added that the young protesters failed to realize this move. He further said that President Ranil Wickremesinghe was able to secure 134 votes in parliament due to the insecurity of parliamentarians created as a result of the protest. He also said the parliamentarians assumed Ranil Wickremesinghe is capable to suppress the struggle and secure their lives than the parliamentarian Dalaswalla Peruma, who is more democratic. MP Veeravansa said that they have no faith over President Ranil Wickremesinghe to rescue the country from the current economic crisis. Samagi Jana Balawegaya says the number of opposition parliamentarians will increase based on the vote held to elect the new president yesterday.
These remarks were shared during a media briefing held at the opposition leader's office today. SJB General Secretary Ranjit Madhuma Bandara said that certain MPs used their vote for personal gains. He also said that no member of Samagi Jana Balawegaya voted to appoint the newly elected president. He also added that the opposition, which comprised of 63 MPs, has now increased up to 90 MPs at present. Leader of the National People's Power, Anura Kumara Dissanayake, says the present political culture should be changed and the National People's Power is ready to provide the leadership for this effort.
He made these remarks during a media briefing held in Colombo today. MPP leader Anura Kumara Dissanayake said that the citizens of the country elect a representative from their respective electorates to the parliament against President Ranil Wickremesinghe. However, he said that this representative voted in favour of Ranil Wickremesinghe and elected him to be the next president in parliament. Therefore, he said that such political culture should be defeated. The NPP leader said that the country is faced with a challenge and a people's uprising emphasises the unpleasant political system in the country. He added that the majority of the people have experienced this unpleasant politics in the country. Therefore, he said that they are ready to take over the responsibility to clean the political system. He added that as a party, they have always ensured and stood by their policy decisions taken in favour of the nation in the parliament. We'll be back with foreign news after a short break.
මගේ කලා ජීවිතයට දැන් අවුරුදු ගාණක් වෙනවා. පුංචි මදුරුවෙක් හින්දා අහිංසක ජීවිත ගණනාවක් මේ ලෝකේ අතහැරලා ගිය අවස්ථා ඕන තරම් මම දැකලා තියෙනවා. දැන්වත් අපි මේක නතර කරමු.
Now on to foreign news. A year and a half after he was appointed as Italy's unelected head of unity government, Mario Draghi has resigned as Prime Minister. Mario Draghi told President Sergio Mattarella that he was standing down after three parties in his government refused to back him in a confidence vote the night before. The president asked him to remain as caretaker leader and early elections are expected this autumn. Mr. Draghi, 74, is a popular figure in Italy. He was dubbed Super Mario for his handling of the Eurozone crisis as the head of the European Central Bank. In February last year, he was given the task of guiding Italy through the COVID pandemic and economic recovery, bolstered by the big EU package conditional on major reforms.
In the meantime, in Europe, a recent spate of wildfires has abated amid cooler temperatures. No outbreak was reported in Portugal today, while French firefighters started to get the upper hand over two major blazes, and Spain tamed a fire that killed 2 people last weekend. Some of the 11,000 people evacuated because of the fires in Spain began returning home, and a major highway in the northwestern Zamora province reopened after 2 days. Spanish firefighters have been tackling 9 blazes, with 2 said to be especially dangerous in northwestern Galicia. Temperatures above 40 degrees Celsius and drought have worsened Spain's wildfires this year. Today's highest temperature in Spain was forecast to be 32 degrees Celsius. In France, more than a week of round-the-clock battling against ferocious flames, more than 2,000 firefighters and up to 10 water-dropping planes were slowly winning out against 2 major wildfires in tinder-dry pine forests in southwest France.
Prima Kotomi Pantan.
Now on to sports news. At first, there is the Commonwealth Games that are scheduled to take place in Birmingham from July 28th to August 8th. The Sri Lankan weightlifting team, comprised of individuals, will leave the country on July 25th.
The weightlifting contingent taking part in the Commonwealth Games consists of 10 athletes. Indika Dissanayake is the captain of the contingent and competing in the 73 kg weight class. Tilanka Isuru Kumara, Tilanka, Chaturanga Lakma, Chintaka Gital and Ushan Charuka are the male weightlifters competing in the Commonwealth Games. The female weightlifters are Srimali Samarakun, Chamari Varnakula Surya, Charirika Priyanti and Thimali Haputana. R.B. Wickremesinghe is the head coach of the contingent.
Now on cricketing news, the 143rd Battle of the Blues commenced today between Royal College Colombo and St Thomas's College Mount Lavinia. The match is being played at SSC grounds in Colombo.
Winning the toss, Royal College invited St Thomas's College to bat first. St Thomas's College scored 207 runs with the loss of 6 wickets in their first innings. Seneth Hettiarachi scored 55, while Charuka Piri scored 51 runs. Gihan Balasurya and Ramiru Pereira picked up 2 wickets each for Royal College. Tomorrow is the second day of the 3-day match.
Today is also the 6th day of the World Athletic Championship taking place in Oregon in the USA.
Slovenia's Christian K won the gold in the men's discus throw event. Meanwhile, Elina Peterson won the women's high jump event, securing a record of 2 meters. Kazakhstan's Nora Geruto won the women's 3,000 meter steeplechase with a time of 8 minutes and 53 seconds. British runner Jake Wigtoman won men's 1,500 meter running event. Brazil's Alison Santos won the men's 400 meters hurdles, the time of 46 seconds and .29.
That's it for tonight's English News telecast. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Have a pleasant night.
오빤 강남스타일 강남스타일 낮에는 따사로운 인간적인 여자 커피 한 잔에 여유를 아는 품격 있는 여자 밤이 오면 심장이 뜨거워지는 여자 그런 반전 있는 여자 나는 선어해 낮에는 너만큼 따사로운 그런 선어해 커피 식기도 전에 원샷 때리는 선어해 밤이 오면 심장이 터져버리는 선어해 그런 선어해 아름다워 사랑스러워 그래 너 그래 바로 너 아름다워 사랑스러워 그래 너 그래 바로 너 지금부터 갈 때까지 가볼까 오빤 강남스타일